Welcome to SB408D Entrepreneurship. My name is Felicia Frida Aitan Aqua. We're going to be looking at managing small business marketing unit 5. Specifically, we're going to focus on session 5, product and price. By the end of this session, you should be able to explain the meaning of the marketing mix, describe the different types of products, outline the stages of product life cycle, and discuss the common approaches to pricing adopted by small firms. When we're looking at the marketing mix, you're virtually looking at how you're going to apply the various elements of the marketing research, marketing element, which is a price, promotion, place, or distribution, to effectively what meet the needs of your customers by giving them the various products or things they would need to solve what or satisfy them. And so the marketing mix is basically looking at the how you're going to use your products, the price, your pricing strategy, your promotion, all these strategies together to be able to what serve or meet the needs of your customers. And we're saying that these things are what interrelated, and so you need each one of them has an effect it has on the other. And one key element in it is the product. At the end of the day, we made mention from the start that entrepreneurship, you aim to what anchor whatever you have, whatever idea you have in a product or a service which is supposed to what give value to the end user or the customer. And so the product is very, very key when it comes to your marketing mix, and there are a lot of what strategies that goes in there as well. How much you price the item also matters, and so you need to look out for the amount you want to even put to it, whether you're going to sell it in Ghana cedis, or you're going to sell it in dollars, you're going to sell in euros or pounds. They all matter in there. And the price you're going to give it to it also matters, because don't forget, sometimes people would go everywhere just for 2.99 when it's selling at 3 cities somewhere else. And place, or what we may also call as distribution, looks at how to get what the good or service to the customers or the people who need it, the end consumers or the end buyers. And promotion is all about what's making people or making the consumers or customers more aware of your product to what patronize more of it. And so when we're looking at products, so, like I made mention earlier, products are supposed to help you meet the needs or satisfy the need of the customer. So, they are adding value, and that is where your idea or your solution is going to be anchored in there. It could be a good or a service. Now, all products can be classified under these three major classifications. They can be consumer products, which is being you buy it and then you just use it as a final user. So, if I go and buy my wachi, I'm just going to eat it. I'm not going to reprocess it or anything. If you go and buy your Microsoft Word package, you're just going to use it on your machine directly and you work with it. So these are what final consumption by the end user. Then you have the industrial product, which is actually used as input for those who are going to what manufacture or process the thing. And so someone like producers of fried oil, they'll go and buy raw materials like the palm kernel from the farms, and then they'll process it into oil, and then we would be able to what buy that final product from them. And so when it comes to industrial goods, they can take the form of raw materials, machinery, and equipment. Then we also have what we call the commercial products, which are not really directly in the production of other goods. However, they assist with production. Example is office supplies, typewriters, filling cabinets, and all those ones. These are things which they just assist you in the production function. So yes, consumer products are those that are going to be consumed by the final consumer. You buy and then you use. Industrial products are those that serve as raw materials, or they feed into the production process of the manufacturers. And then we have commercial products, which assist in the production of what the production process. So we need to note that every product actually have a life cycle. Just like human beings, you are born into You are first conceived in the womb, you stay for 9 months or less or more. Once you come out, you are born, you become a baby, you learn to crawl, and before some time you become a toddler, then you become a child, before you realize you are an adolescent, then you become an adult, you become a teenager, before you realize you're an adult, before you realize you're an old adult or you're an aging person, and then before you realize you've died or gone out of the world. It's the same thing. Businesses also have their life cycle. They move from one stage to the other, and yes, they all have their own cycles in which they go. So we have at the bottom, we have the introductory stage. At this level, the business, you're now introducing your product into the market. So at the introductory stage, usually sales is less, people don't know much about you, so the acceptance will not be there, and you have to put a lot of advertisement cost in there. You need to do a lot of advertisement for people to hear about you or see about you, and sales is often low, and profit would also be low because the costs will be more than the returns you'll be making. Then we have the growth stage, when it is rising up the curve. And so at the growth stage, you realize that the profit margins is coming, the sales is coming, because now people are familiarizing with it, people are now understanding it, people are now patronizing it. Then it gets to that stage where you are at the maturity stage, you are on top of your game, you're at the peak. And at this stage, you realize that sales is still increasing and profit has tended to reach its peak. At this stage, this is when you see others also coming into the market because they've seen that you are doing well. And typical Ghanaian Me Too businesses would also start coming in to do the same thing. And so at the maturity stage, you realize that there's more competition and things which will start picking up in there. Then you see a stage where the curve begins to drop, which is the decline stage. At the decline stage, you realize that it could be that there's too much competition in now, or there are new products which are doing better than yours, or other variables or factors that can cause it. And at that stage, you realize that your sales begins to just drop, and even the profit margins also begins to drop. And so at each point of the product life cycle you are, and then the type of marketing strategies to put in place, you realize at that you may have to be doing more promotions, but as you are growing and things, you may then reduce because you are becoming more familiar with it, and you find other ways of pushing your product to them. Then when it's growing, you may have to now look at your distribution channels and look at them properly. And when you're at that maturity stage, there are other things you need to look out for to maintain your sales and make the most of it. And when it's declining, you have to look out for other strategies to find your way out there. A new product may be a good or a service or an idea which is perceived by some potential customers as new because one, it may be replacing an old product, two, it may be to a new market, or three, it may be broadened in an existing market. So this is what we're looking out for when we're saying something is a new product. And we're saying that new product development sometimes can fail because sometimes there's little differentiation. So they don't even see that this is new. They feel it's the same old thing. Maybe you're doing fruit juice, you're doing pineapple, you've added some small lemon to it or something. If you don't really make them feel it much in the taste, or they don't see it in the packaging and things, they won't see it as new. And so you realize that people like Fan Yogo and Co, when they do something new, sometimes they'll deliberately write what's new by the side just to help people differentiate it from the other ones on the market. Sometimes too, it may be that there's inadequate information or knowledge about that product in the market. They are not even aware there's something new coming up or there's something new with your product in the market, and so they can't patronize it. Sometimes to poor planning and execution of your introduction. If you don't plan your introduction into the market very well, it can also fail. So you need to be able to plan very well and do your market research well and know how to introduce that new product to them. And sometimes to the failure to adjust product strategy when change dictates. You want to do it this way, this is the only way you want to go about it. It doesn't work like that. Sometimes you may have done all the plans, but things will happen and you have to change or go back to your drawing board. And that's why we always do the contingencies: plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, just in case something therefore perhaps happens. You just want to make sure that there is something to take care of it. And sometimes the inadequate funding or the lack of commitment for the new product can also lead to the failure of the new product. So in producing your new product, you can minimize the risk by considering one, simplicity. If it's too complicated, they won't understand, and that is also going to lead to your failure. The integrity should also be what maintained for the product. You should focus more on the human focus rather than just the money. Think beyond money, and there should be that sort of synergy in there. Creativity, let them feel like this is wow, this is different from the other one, and you should be able to also check some of the risks that come with it. And so when you're doing new products, you should be able to check all these things as well. And of course, you need to be checking your packaging. It matters a lot these days. The way the thing is branded, the way the thing is looking, the final appeal, the final look of the thing is what is going to attract. Don't forget that appearances matter a lot. And so in business, it's saying that packaging involves the activity of designing the container or wrapper for the product. Your product's wrapper or container should even tell you where it is coming from. You can't do something at this stage or at this era and there's no name, there's no brand to it, you can't even see where it is coming from. Then you are not in business. It's going to fail. And so you need to look out for the container or the wrapper in which you are putting the product. A well-designed, environmentally friendly, attractive package could attract more consumers and boost sales. These days we're looking at eco-friendly or environmental friendly packaging as well. You don't want to degrade so much of the earth in there. It says packaging protects the goods from being damaged as well. So as you are thinking of the fineness and the final outspill or outlook of the thing, you should also consider the protection of the good as well. So you don't have to go and use something very light or transparent when you know that heat or direct sunlight can affect what the product you are producing. You should check all of them when you are looking at packaging. And we're saying that packaging also helps keep, for example, foodstuff very hygienic and fresh. If you don't package it and you leave it in the open like we do in our open market, you are just leaving it for what? More germs and contamination to it. And price is the amount of money that someone is willing to pay for that good and service. And so there are some pricing strategy people use, different approaches to pricing. I made mention of the fact that sometimes someone will leave Cape Coast to Accra just because of some 10 cedis on a product or service there. And so pricing matters a lot. Sometimes people price based on the market. So because everybody in the market is selling it for 20 cedis, I would also sell for 20 cedis. Sometimes people may say that, well, I produce a thing for 18 cedis. I want a profit of 5 cedis. Then let me just sell it at 23 cedis instead. So there are different pricing strategies you can use to your advantage as well. So to sum up, we have learned that the factors of a marketing strategy, we need to consider the 5 P's of marketing. You have to consider the P's of marketing, which is the price, promotion, place, and product, which is the fundamental element of the marketing mix. And we should be able to use them effectively to satisfy what the needs of the customers and for us to be very profitable in there as well. Thank you very much.